With new organizations and old, and lots of changes happening within these bass fishing organizations, where is the best decision for an angler to fish? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. Where an angler's decision to fish is probably not looked at by most of us, the fans. Most of us have not thought of what the decision process is for a professional angler on where he should fish and where he shouldn't fish. And because recently I've had slightly more interaction with some younger anglers and some anglers who have won tournaments and are making that decision now in their off season, it led me to this video. And anglers want to make the big leagues. They want to make the BPT. They want to make the elites. This is their ultimate goal. And I started wondering what those anglers' decision was, how crucial this decision was to pick the proper place that fits their needs. And some of these are just common sense, but some of them probably not all of us have ever thought about. If you've never really thought to be or wanted to be a professional angler, like myself, I never in my life remotely thought I would be a professional angler. And I don't want to be, because I don't want to take the fun out of fishing. I am unbelievably competitive, but you got to know your lane. I don't think I can remotely be in the same ballpark as 98% of the anglers that are on the elites, the opens, the BPT, or the invitationals. I'd even put myself in that category saying most guys would kick my teeth in on the BFLs. It's just, you just got to be real. But where these anglers go is really crucial for several different reasons. Now, travel and the schedule really is a big importance in where an angler fishes. If you're comfortable in certain places over other places, you probably will fish that organization over the other organization. And with the schedule and travel, something that we probably don't put enough emphasis on is that angler is away from his family, is away from his wife and his kids. And that time that you're away from them, you don't get back. And before I was a father, this is something I really didn't put much importance on. I realize now in talking to several anglers that I talk to on a consistent basis, they constantly remind me that they want to be home. They want to see their kids. They want to see their wife. They want to do things as a family. And family comes first. And we have to remember that anglers have families. Most of them have families. Some of these younger anglers do not yet, but they will. And when you have that importance in your life and not wanting to miss things that time and those events you won't get back, schedule and travel plays a crucial part in where an angler will fish and where they won't fish. And tournament fishing is a serious and a dedicated job. You need your time on the water. You need to be able to approach it, be confident, be dedicated, and work your ass off. Because without it, you're not going to have the success that you want. And not trying to throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot and many anglers that realize that the ego that comes with being a professional angler is part of your success. Being driven for yourself, for that pat on the back, for that trophy. Many anglers will say that's what pushes them, that's what boosts them. While other people will say, I do this for my family. Another thing that anglers have to make the decision on where they're going to fish is how confident they are in that organization. Is that organization moving forward and getting better? Or are they standing on their laurels and just saying, we've done this for so long, this is the way it's going to be? Anglers have to sell themselves to a sponsor, and then promote those sponsors so that they have a consistent money revenue coming in. And sponsorships pay for majority of all of the anglers. There's some people that have money behind them, which is great. Congratulations. But anglers still need that sponsorship to fulfill what they have to do for their family and for themselves, because you can't rely on cashing a check. Even the best anglers in the world don't rely on it. They need the sponsorships to better themselves and their family. Exposure is also a huge part of where an angler will fish. Knowing that you're going to get articles written or website views or social media posts or a camera person on your boat. That exposure helps you with your brand. And if your brand is successful, you will be successful as a tournament angler financially. Doesn't mean you're going to win a lot of stuff, because winning is not easy. We've seen that over the years. When you're in the elites, you're fishing against 100 plus people. Only 8 or 9 people a year win an elite event. And when you look at the BPT with 6 events, 6 of their 65 and now 51 only win 1 event a year. By getting that streaming viewership and that extra click and that social media post about themselves on the organization's own social media or website or whatever it is, helps boost that angler's brand. So exposure plays a big part in where an angler will fish and where they won't fish. Because if you're not getting exposure from the tournament organization, all you're doing is paying them to be in their tournament series. You can do your own social media and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and everything else. And that's great, and you should. But anglers need the organization to promote them also. Prestige is also another big thing on where an angler will fish and where they won't. I will say, without question, the Classic for the elites is without question the biggest tournament there is. Getting a Classic bid is fantastic. Having the opportunity to win the Classic is fantastic. Having an opportunity to win Angler of the Year in the elites and the BPT is something to strive for. But when you're not dealing with the elites and the BPT, really you're dealing with the Opens and now the Pro Circuit. And that prestige of them having a championship, or how many people move up into each one, is a big reason why anglers fish one over the other. Now the last two have to deal with money. Entry fees is really important. Where and how much it costs for an angler to fish is really probably one of the bigger decisions they have to make. $5,500 versus $2,500 for the Opens, and then $3,500 a tournament for the EQs. They kind of balance out. It's $33,000 to fish on the Pro Circuit in 2026, and to fish on the Opens and the EQs is going to probably cost you about $30,500. And that is 6 events versus 11 events. And you have expenses, and you have gas, and you have all the other things. So entry fees, expenses, and everything plays a big part in where you will fish the Opens or you'll fish the Pro Circuit. Now, payouts, without question, is the biggest reason why an angler will fish one over the other. Major League Fishing and the Pro Circuit in 2026 will pay out more than any other organization. When you know that versus the Opens and the EQs and the Classic and the opportunity to fish in the elites over the BPT, that decision probably weighs very heavily on where anglers want to move. But having said that, payouts are absolutely dire critical for the anglers. To make a bottom check at $5,000 and you pay $3,500 and $2,000 in expenses, those anglers are in the hole for $500 minimum. So when they look at the payouts and the anglers come together and make the decision to form a group and try to get the payouts better, it is absolutely crucial and unbelievably important that the organization not only listens, but they do something about it. And you have the opportunity to make more money. It makes sense to fish one over the other. But you have to put everything together and figure out what works for you and what works for your family. And in doing this video and thinking about it and trying to come up with notes and other stuff, it's really surprising how much more and how much of an effect and how crucial it is that an angler picks the best place for them to fish. I just always thought it was go where the money is. That isn't always the case. Some anglers like to fish certain areas versus others. And both organizations fish 5 fish, and that's something too. And we haven't even talked about forward-facing sonar. Are you a scoper? Are you a traditional fisherman? That comes into play too. But this decision that anglers have to make is insanely tough, insanely crucial, that they weigh out the pros, the cons, and everything else. And there's a lot of people that will go, I can fish anywhere, but I choose to fish the BFLs or this or that. The elite anglers that want to succeed want to fish at the highest level. They don't fish down, they fish up. There's something to be said for that. Now, if you had an opportunity to go fish the Opens and EQs and fish for the elites, would you go there? Or would you take the money, fish the pro circuit in 2026 and try to fish the VPT, where you're going to make even more money? Is money a factor? Is the schedule a factor? And how much does your family come into play? And where do you think you get the most exposure? Because we do have a championship now, a free championship with MLF, where they don't have that with the Opens and the EQs. Where's the best fit for pro anglers? Comment below and tell me what you think. I just can't say thank you enough. It's humbling and it's a great experience. But if you're not a subscriber, click that like, subscribe, and that notification bell so you know when the next video drops. And as always, remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.